Hi everyone, it's Taylor back again for another version of the Golden Vlog. Um, I I'm pretty sure I've been doing these for about a year now, which is really exciting that it's still going pretty strong. Um, as you can see, I have a sweatshirt on and we have a blanket up on the window. It's really cold in here, even though we do have the heater on to a moderate temperature. It's just because our windows don't hold back heat and cold. They There's quite a breeze coming in from the closed window, so it kind of sucks. But that's why I'm all wrapped up nice and cozy in here. Um, this month's vlog is about jobs and work, and I actually feel very strongly on the subject. I grew up with a set of go-getter parents. The phrase "go pound the pavement" was heard quite often in our teenage years, and we've learned from both of our parents' examples. My mom has always been a really hard worker at home. She started getting jobs again outside the home when all of us were in school because she was bored. Um, and my dad has always worked his butt off his entire life, even from his teenage years. So working and jobs are really important for me. So first question, what is your current job? Well, technically, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I have substitute taught a few times. I do tutor a student for the SATs and the ACT and just her regular English classes right now. And I am a personal virtual assistant for a health blogger, health and fitness blogger. I'm helping to create a newsletter for her, as well as manage her Pinterest account, as well as uh, help her with blog posts and making pinnable images. So I am a work-at-home mom with a multitude of little tiny jobs. Oh, and I also sell lesson plans on Teachers Pay Teachers. So look on my sidebar and scroll down until you see the button that says Mrs. Morrell's Classroom. And those are just some of the lesson plans that I already have on. And the reason that I'm doing all these little mini jobs and not working as an actual teacher is it still allows me to feel productive, and because I am a workaholic, and but allows me to work on my time by putting my priorities first, which are my family. And that's the reason I am not teaching this year either, because it was just a little too stressful to handle. I didn't feel like I was giving my family nor my students 100%. So yeah, I really like working at home stuff. But I do miss teaching a lot. What was your very first job? Well, as soon as I got my license that very same day, my mom pushed me out the door and said, "Don't come back till you find a job." So I did. So technically, my very first job was working at Quiznos Sandwiches. I worked there for a few days, but I did not like the atmosphere. The boss was very strict and didn't care that I was a high schooler with, high school labor laws, and so had me close every single night and expected me to memorize all the recipes instantly. So I quit after a week, and I got hired at a very popular restaurant called Cece's Pizza Buffet. It was an all-you-can-eat pizza, pasta, and salad buffet, and we loved it. So delicious. All the school fundraisers happened there, and I worked there. And the best part about it was I got free food whenever I wanted, and my family, or if I was with one or two friends at the time, got free food whenever we wanted. It was great. Although now looking back at it as an adult, wasn't the greatest system. The manager wasn't the best at being a professional manager. And some of the coworkers, we paid them under the table because it was either, high school students or Mexican immigrants, whether or not they had a green card. So, but it was still a great first job. Growing up, what did you want to be? I actually always wanted to be a teacher. My mom has pictures of me actually teaching my stuffed animals with books and an easel, even though I didn't know how to read or write yet. So it was just kind of always in my blood. I do believe that teaching in any form is my God-given calling. You could have any job in the world. What would you do? I would actually love to be a history professor at a university and get paid for not only teaching, but to do research in my top subject, which would be medieval Britain and Welsh history and culture. And also, I would love to have set up a study abroad. That way, I could go for free every summer to Great Britain, and it'd be awesome. What job would you definitely not want to have? I have done my very best, I feel, to avoid working at fast food restaurants. I don't mind working in the food business. I've done it multiple times. I've worked at Subway, and I don't consider Subway fast food. I mean, it's kind of fast food, but it's not like McDonald's. I've worked at Subway. I've worked Cece's Pizza. I've worked concessions. And my sister has worked waitressing. And so I'm pretty familiar with the food business. But I would not want to work at a fast food restaurant. And actually, I did have a 3-hour, you heard that, 3-hour stint at El Pollo Loco. It was when my family was living in California. Well, I was away at college, and we lived in the Apple Valley, Victorville, Barstow, middle of nowhere, Podunk Town area. And I lived there during the summers with them. And so the first summer, I was trying to find a job. No, I think it was the second summer. Yeah, second summer, I was trying to find a job. Had a really hard time doing it. Finally found an opening at El Pollo Loco, which was 30 minutes away from where I lived, first of all. And I just felt really uncomfortable in it. They were supposed to be training me. That was my first day, 3 hours of training. But they didn't really pay attention to me. They didn't really do a good job training. And everyone was talking in, Spanish and not being friendly to me. And so I just felt unwelcome there. And so finished out the 3 hours, handed in my uniform, came back a week later to pick up a $17 paycheck, and that was it. So I would never want to work in a fast food restaurant. Is there a certain profession that you admire a lot? Yes, teaching. Obviously, not that I'm biased or anything. But, I mean, we're definitely not in it for the money. I mean, I've never heard of a teacher, not an administrator, but I've never heard of a teacher getting over $50,000 their entire life. I mean, the average wage is like $30,000. That's really hard to raise a family on. So obviously, we're not in it for the money. We're in it for the kids. We want them to be able to learn. And now that there's all these politics, and I will try to stay off a soapbox here because it's really hard for me not to get on a soapbox when it comes to teaching and teachers and standardized tests and all that kind of stuff. So, real quick summary. With all the policies being made in standardized testing and expectations that teachers are supposed to have in regards to the students' grades, it's really hard to be a teacher, and that's why there's such a huge turnover, because teachers get really discouraged and frustrated with the system. And I mean, dealing with kids all day, multiple kids. I mean, stay-at-home moms, you think it's, difficult taking care of your few kids at home. It's just that difficult taking care of other people's kids, whether you're an elementary school teacher who has to take care of kids peeing themselves or stealing each other's cookies from lunch or picking their noses and wiping it all over the place, to, junior high students who think they're all that. It's difficult. But really, the teaching profession that really I admire are those who are special education teachers, especially the ones in severe special education schools that work with kids in wheelchairs who aren't really mentally there at all, and who are, in their late teens, but still can't really work at a kindergarten level. Those people I truly admire. They are heroes. They are so patient, so loving, so tender, and able to see the good and beauty of every soul. And they just really inspire me to be a better general education teacher. What qualities do you think make a good leader or a boss? Definitely being patient, definitely being understanding, willing to teach, but not necessarily patronize, willing to support, and willing to consider new ideas. What's the funniest thing that's happened to you at work? Well, there have been multiple funny things that have happened to me. If you actually look on my sidebar and click the button that says teaching and learning, I have all my adventures from my 3 years of teaching listed there. There are plenty of funny things. So I'm not going to waste time because I'm already over 10 minutes. But yeah, go look at that. What advice would you give to current students now? If it's grade school students, I would say try your best. Do not give up. You are smarter than you think. If it's college students, I would say find something that you're passionate about and go for a job that works with that. I, again, knew I wanted to be a teacher. Growing up, didn't know what kind of teacher I wanted to be, didn't know what level or what subject or what grade. But as I exited high school and entered into college, I really had 2 subjects that I absolutely loved. I loved history and I loved English. So that's why I became an English and history certified teacher. And all my jobs, part-time jobs that I had in college, helped work my way up to that. I was a writing tutor in 2 different programs at BYU, and I was a history professor's TA, 2 different history subjects. So discover what you're passionate about, find a job that aligns with that, and then work part-time jobs that help with that. And then what's the worst job you've ever had? Again, that kind of goes back to the El Pollo Loco and the Quiznos. So, yeah, that's it. That's me and jobs. I believe that every teenager who is able to should have a part-time job as soon as they have a driver's license. I don't feel that they need to before that age. But I do think that high schoolers should work part-time. And that same with college. You should work during college. I feel that that's really important to start learning financial literacy, which a lot of schools don't actually teach, but I believe they should. I would have benefited from financial literacy. And it helps gain independence. It helps build your character, and it helps give you experience in the work field. So yeah, everyone should have a job. And I love jobs and I love working. And so that's it. I'm really excited for the December one to see what Faith has. Bye.